Hello.
Well, hello there.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's your name?
My name is Blazer.
Blazer. Okay, Blazer.
hmm
Blazer. Who has told you or what? Who has told you and encouraged you to date down, ma'am?
Okay, so personally haven't been told to date down. However, because of just in the community of black men that I have been around, especially when I was younger, I was always told that, well, you're going to be single, you're not going to be able to find someone who meets your standards because at the time when I was younger, I had very high standards. And because of, you know, of just me trying to find that one person that I wanted to be able to click with, I never was able to find that one person because of me, and I will admit my standards were pretty high back then. But then when I decided to be like, okay, let me.
Blazer. Really quick. Really quick. Just really quick. I want to just ask you a quick question before you continue. Um, I mean, me personally, I mean, not only when it comes to dating, I think people should have high standards in life. But what comes behind those high standards is understanding that, certain work needs to be done to, achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And the higher it is, the more work that's going to need to be done. So my quick question to you before you continue is, whenever you felt that you had super high standards, do you feel like you were justified in having the specific standards that you had? And then you can continue.
Honestly, yes, because I watched I modeled my high standards after my grandfather who built the city, who literally helped build the city that I live in now. Um and I realized that, when I had those high standards, not only was I disappointing myself, right? But I was extremely shallow with those standards. Um And I think that a lot of people don't really understand what it means when you have high standards because when you have those high standards, you're really having those high standards for yourself, for real, not for the other person. Because just because you may want to have someone who is successful, right, doesn't mean that they will meet your parameters of success. So I think that that's just something that we as a society really have to really process and get through our heads. Am I saying that there aren't people who do meet their partner standards? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is just as an average person who is in the dating scene should be able to have standards that they can obtain themselves and not expect that other person to obtain it because they're going to get disappointed. Like with my relationships, right? I had high standards for my partner, and when they didn't meet it, I just it made me feel like I was the crappiest person in the world because I had such high standards for for that person. And it wasn't because that I didn't think that they couldn't do it. It was the fact that they just didn't want to do it. They didn't want to put the effort in to meet those standards. So not only did I feel like they disappointed themselves, but they also disappointed me.
So what okay, so what do you have to say to women that what do you have to say to women that have quote unquote high standards, um, but their real life results are they're not getting the real life results of those standards. So like what it's like pertaining to dating, you know, they have these high standards and they feel that if they're with any other man that doesn't meet a specific caliber of man, they feel like they're settling, but also at the same time, they're not attracting the caliber of man it is that they want. They're not attracting him, they're not getting any significant minute interest from that caliber of man, but the men that in all reality are on their level and more than suitable for them, they're ignoring those men. So what do you have to say to the women that aren't getting the real life results of whatever standards that they have? Like,
What I would
like, because really quick, like at some point in time, like insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result, right?
right.
So as a man or a woman, as a man or a woman, okay? So I said man as well. You cannot say that you are not settling when you are also not attracting what it is that you want at the same time. And not only are you not attracting it, you're not getting any significant, minute interest from this group of men and women. So when do you go back to the drawing board and do some reconnecting of the dots and say, and either look in the mirror and say, I need to do something different because I'm not getting the results that I want, or everything is not meant for everybody, Blazer. Everybody like, some people do need to like work, be a cashier at the gas station. Some people do need to be a door greeter at Walmart. Some people do need to drop fries at McDonald's. Like everything ain't for everybody. So there is and delusion is also a real thing. But I digress.
Okay, so what I say to that with those who have high standards, right? Can it's kind of it's going to sound a little contradictory, and forgive me if I do. But continue to have those high standards. What matters, honestly, is the person who is giving you the effort that you're looking for. Sometimes you might have somebody who meets all of those standards and they're a shitty person. Sometimes you might meet someone who meets none of those standards and they're an amazing person. They're a great parent, a partner, a great parent, a great listener, and all of that. Um, it's just I think that what we do as humans, we expect to have perfection within our vision and our reality, for the ones that we deem to be worthy, and we get disappointed every time. Because nobody's perfect, you know. The only person who I would say is perfect. I'm not religious, but the only person who I would say is perfect is Jesus, because he didn't have, anything that, that would be deemed in God's eyes to be a flaw. Um, so, we can't give um that Christ-like perfection to those who are human, because we all stumble, we all lose our way. Um, I think that most people just really need to get to a point where they're um they're comfortable with themselves and they can be happy with themselves with or without a partner. And honestly at this point I would just say go with the flow with what the effort that they give you. If they give you low effort, then don't entertain it. If they give you the effort that seems too pushy, give it a chance. But if it seems like it's too much for you and you can't handle it, let them know, hey, I can't handle this. I'm not about to sit here and waste your time, or I'm not about to sit here and let you waste my time. And just go about it, and go about, your ways. If the person is giving you the effort that you want, and both of you are putting in that effort, then it comes to the next step where you guys are communicating with each other and making sure that you guys are meeting halfway. A relationship is not a hierarchy; it's a partnership. And if you can't understand that, then there's no reason for you to be in a relationship. Um, and then the last thing I'm gonna say is I don't think there's really statistical data of people telling black women to date down or whatever. I think it's mainly because black women are such a race loyal, um, a race of loyal women to their black men, that because we do want to see our black men succeed. And it's to a point where now black men are getting to this point where they internalize hurt from every black woman that they have come in contact with, that they're taking out on other black women and not doing the internal work. That's where the pushback is. Black women are saying, hey, we want you to do better, but if you're not going to do the internal work, then we will go find it somewhere else where we know that they're doing the internal work. Until then, we're going to go our way, and then when you guys decide to when you guys decide to do what you're supposed to do, come back to us as the leaders that you're supposed to be and not what you're portraying to be, then we can talk, then we can build, then we can do that. But for right now, we're going to get our educations, we're going to get our money, we're going to do what we need to do, and we're going to just continue to love ourselves. That's all it is. It's no war. It's no none of that between black men and black women. It's just people are hurt. People are, going back and forth between each other, and it's really got to stop at this point. So all I'm gonna say is that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And then, but I do appreciate you having me up here. I hope you guys have a great night. Continue to have these conversations. Continue to keep doing what you're doing, and I don't know, I don't know what kind of what religion you are. I don't know if you say peace be upon you, assalamu alaikum.
I'm Christian.
Um, okay, so peace be upon you, brother. I hope you do. I hope you continue to, have these conversations. And I see that you're actually open to talking to black women and wanting to know where the disconnect is. Continue to do that because black women, we honestly want to see we want to see y'all succeed. The more we see this, the more we can be like, okay, then how can we bring more of us together? That's the goal. That's the end game, and that's all it is.
Thank you, Blazer. I appreciate you, man. You're always welcome here. You have a good night, all right?
All right, thank you.
All right. She was cool, man. She was cool. We've had two great guests come on. We've had two great guests come on here. I did want to ask Blazer a question before she dropped, but she had to go because she had made a comment about until us. She's basically said like black women in large until we see majority of you black men start doing what we're asking you to do, we're either just gonna be to ourselves or go elsewhere. So all the black women and everyone in the chat, can y'all please tell me one group of men other than black men that are pursuing that are in can y'all give me one group of men other than black men that are pursuing black women for serious relationships in abundance? Can y'all do that for me? Hey
You
Blazer.
said you had a question. You said you had a question for me.
Yeah. Can you tell me one group of men um other than black men that are pursuing black women for serious relationships even up to marriage in abundance?
Ooh, I mean,
Can you can
there's
can you can you name one? Can you name one other group of men? Because like again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys look at as recent as the 2021 Census Bureau of black men and black women that were married, and both black women are the least married and the highest divorced, and right after them is black men. So very one out of four of us get married to start off with. And for those of us that were married, dating as recent as 2021, of black men that were married, 85% of them were married to black women. Of black women that were married, 94% of them were married to black men. So I want to know what other group of men in abundance are pursuing black women for serious relationships up to marriage, because I don't know one other race. Again, I'm not talking about to sleep with. I am talking about for dating for serious relationships up to marriage.
um honestly, white men. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, really. I mean, I'm not. I mean that's what I've been seeing here lately. I've also seen Hispanic men. I've also seen Asian men. I've also seen um Muslim men, men from the Middle East. I've seen Jamaican men. I've seen some African men. I mean, it really is honestly really like I said, it's really just a disconnect, and I think it's more of like I don't know if you follow Jazzy Reloaded, but she explains it a lot better than I can. She articulates it a lot better than I do. But I think honestly all men are pursuing black women because of I guess I guess because now, because I guess because for years, black women, right, especially dark skinned black women, have always been told that, we were ugly, we were undesirable, no one wants to date someone who's as dark as you look like charcoal, all types of things, right? Um, and black women have finally gotten to a point where we're just like, you know what, since you guys are saying that you don't want me, then I'm gonna go pursue somewhere else, and and I'm going to pursue the ones that have been, coming after me after for years, and just, and give them a chance. And that's why black women are now, divesting as well. And it's not out of hate or malice. It's more out of just trying to find, peace, because the ones that we do want to date, like I said before, we're one of the most race loyal, because, like you said, I think it was like above 80% is black women are married to black men.
Hmm.
um and so we just decided, I guess, because of, black men always showing that they don't really want to be with us, or want to build with us, that we decide to go for the ones who are saying, okay, I want to take you serious, I want to do this, I want to marry you. And I mean, that's where it's going now. I'm not What am I saying, that, am I saying that it's in abundance? No, but it is happening.
Uh, where are you from, Blazer?
I'm from Ohio.
Okay, outside of social media, like off of TikTok and off of YouTube, obviously there's black men and black women that get on these different platforms, and they say very unflattering things about one another. They have nothing positive. There's black men that have nothing positive to say about black women. There's black women that have nothing positive to say about black men. But in your real personal life, do you know a lot of black men in abundance that just see black women in a negative light and want nothing to do with them at all?
Yes.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay.
And they get checked for it, because there's actually black men out here that, in real life, that will check some of these brothers that, that be saying that says a lot of stuff, out in public about black women. And they're like, bro, how can you say this? You have a black mom, or you got a black sister, or you got a black aunt, whatever. Well, it's different. That's my family, but it doesn't matter. You wouldn't like if somebody, if some other black man or some other man were to say that about your sister, your mother, your cousin, whatever. So it's not just, and you have to understand that sometimes social media is an extension of reality. So just because the internet doesn't mean that it can't be tracked down, and it can't be um brought to life, because
Absolutely.
how that trend of, kids eating Tide Pods, that was on the internet, and then we had an influx of kids going to the hospital because they were eating Tide Pods. Like, it was like it's just like, you can't sit here and say, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's not true. I mean, there's a lot of things that has happened in the internet that's come true.
No, absolutely, absolutely,
So
and absolutely, and I'm not specifically saying that because I tell people that all the time. Like, people try to say like, "Oh, it's just the internet." Well, it's real people on the internet. Like,
right,
yeah, you have some people that they get on here and they just want to troll, but that's not everyone. Some people
right,
are on here
but that
saying
trolling
how
that
they
trolling
really
can come
feel.
out into real life and really hurt some people, have real life consequences. Like, that's why I try to, like, because, like, I'm an app, like, for me, because I know how society is, and I know that even though women have a harder time within society because of how society has been written, and been written by men majority of history, I also realize that, society is very harsh on men as well. And because men and women have different perspectives, a lot of women are not going to see that. I only see it because I have brothers. Most of my family on both my mom and my dad's side are men. So, like, I can't say I see both sides, but I do see that, society in itself is very harmful to men. I think that if men were to be able to see that women are not trying to be your enemy, and just trying to get you to evolve, because we do know that change is hard, because we deal with the most changes out of society from anybody, because we're women. Um, we want to help you to be able to adjust within society, to be able to be like, okay, yes, it's hard, but it's doable. And I think that's where and I think that's another place where the disconnect is coming from, because men are used to life being a certain way for them in society, and they don't know how to navigate it. So they push back on it because of um, them being afraid of change. And there's nothing wrong with change. I encourage everybody. Even me. I have things that I got to change about myself. So I know that I know that change is scary, but it has to happen, because we can't evolve as a society if there's no change.
Yeah, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I know. You said that you have been around and seen men that have. You've been around a lot of men, black men that have nothing positive to say about black women, and I'm not negating your personal real life experiences, but me personally, growing up, being well traveled. I just personally, I'm not saying that my anecdotal experience. I'm not saying that my personal
You're not
experience is
saying that your personal
indicative.
experience is more than mine, or no, I get where you're
Yeah,
coming from.
yeah,
It's
but
just
I'm
it's
just
just
saying, me
it's just you probably
personally. Yeah, I'm just
it's
saying,
just
me personally. I don't know a lot of black women and black men in real life that just see other black men and black women in this negative light, and you know, just think that they're just no good and not worth being with. And but that's just my personal experience, though. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
will tell you this though. I will tell you this though, as a black woman, right? I will tell you this. Um, and even though I know that my brothers, they do have well, except for one, but they do have a respect for me and do listen to me when I do speak to them, because I've never told them anything wrong, and I don't plan to. I'm not going to tell any black man anything wrong. It's just when when black men are around each other, right? You have to understand that um, men are always going to look for the admiration and acceptance of other men. So even if they do have those values or those views, um, they're and they know that you're the type of man to be able to have that respect for black women or just women in general. They're not going to voice it out to you because they still want your respect. And then when they're outed by other men, then they know that you're not they're not going to get that respect and that acceptance, because now they're outed. So what they're going to do is they're going to remove you from the circle, right, of where you're at, and go to somewhere where they know that they'll be accepted for that. It's like meeting someone. It's like meeting Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? You have Dr. Jekyll, right? We get Mr. Hyde a lot of the times, because they know that they have two sides to themselves. So if they can give us the bad side while also still looking like the good side at the same time, they'll give us that bad side, because most of the time those types of men who have that mindset knows that we're going to take it because we're trying to give them grace. And a lot of times we do just take it because we want to see them change, we want to see them get better. Is that right? No, but it does happen. I'm not targeting men when I say this, but there are a lot of women who do the exact same thing. There are a lot of women who do the exact same thing, and I think that our community as a whole would benefit if we take the stigma of therapy out of the black community. Because when it comes to the black community, we have a lot of hurt and trauma that we have to unpack within ourselves. We may not deal with it in healthy ways that we need to. I think that if we really start listening, um, to to everybody within our community who are trying to tell us good, and not think, okay, I don't want to do that because it seems too big for me. But sometimes that big step, like I didn't think that I was going to be able to do anything within cybersecurity. I didn't think that I was going to be able to do anything with working with computers or phones. But the very first thing that I had to do was to take the step to take the class, and now I'm about to be going into a career pathway for cybersecurity. It always takes that one step. And I think the biggest step that we need to take is being able to push our children into be able to get into fields of mental health, because us as a community, we need therapists who know our experience, who walk in our shoes, and be able to help undo all the trauma that we have to go through. I'm not talking about relationship trauma. I'm talking about parental trauma. I'm talking about childhood trauma from childhood friends, friendship trauma, college trauma, stuff like that. Literally everything that has some type of trauma, we have to have that. And like I said, as a community, until we get the stigma of a lot of the things that we have been told as a community out of our community and rebuild our community without fear of it being torn down again, we will thrive. But right now, the very step that we have to take is that we have to listen to each other, especially black men listening to black women, because it's imperative.
I heard that, Blazer. I heard that. So ultimately, do you agree with what the woman in this video said though, as far as black women being told to date down and to not date up and look for more?
I don't think we're being. I don't think. No, I don't. Honestly, I don't agree. But I do think that we're conditioned to date for love and not for money. And am I saying that that's a bad thing? No, but I'm just saying that that's what we are conditioned to do as black women. We're conditioned to date for love and not for money, because everybody else, right? Literally everybody else in every other community are dating for money, and I think that's where a lot of relationships fail. Because yes, money is an important thing that you have to have, but it should not be the forefront of your relationship.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of I think honestly I think just because of in our community as black women, we are told, okay, if you want someone successful, right, and they do have a vision, love them where they're at, and help and love them in their growth, right. And I think a lot of times when we do love them in their growth, and they forget where they come from, right. And I think that a lot of times when they have the woman that loved them in their growth, they also associate that woman with the failures that they had within that growth. So that's why a lot of times when men get into a situation where, okay, now I've got this money, now I've got the cars, now I've got this, I'm gonna go somewhere else because now this person doesn't know my flaws, so I can start all over.
Hmm.
And I actually watched a video, right, of a guy who was talking about men who grow outside of the relationship and not within the relationship. Um and it's a very good video. I'll probably find it so I can send it to you, I'll probably ask for your input on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think a lot of times when it comes to, just black women in general, I mainly think that we're conditioned um to love the person that we're with, not for their money, but for who they are. And I think that's where us as black women sometimes do mess up, because we ignore the red flags. And we think, okay, well, maybe he'll change, maybe he'll do this, maybe he'll get to a point where he actually treats me right. And then because, because of that, it doesn't come, the change doesn't come, we internalize that and we blame ourselves and we just keep it pushing. Yes, we're going to have our complaints about some of the men who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but that's only because we're trying to let you know, hey, these men are out here. We're trying to pick better. We're trying to pick for love, and it's being thrown right in our faces. Why are you telling us to pick better when we are trying to pick better? But every time we try to pick better and we don't love for the money, it gets thrown in our faces. What are we supposed to do?
Hmm. Wow. Interesting
And
take,
and
Blazer.
and I think that a lot of people think that because we tell our experiences is us becoming bitter. It's not us becoming bitter. It's us being aware of where we messed up at, where we ignored the red flags, where we decided to say, okay, I'm gonna love you for you and love you for who you are, and you throw it up in my face. So now I'm mad at myself. I'm not mad at the world. I'm really more mad at myself than I am anybody else. So,
Wow. Someone in the comments said, I encourage women to have their own shit before dating. Stop looking for a come up. And I'm about to ask you a question, and I want you to answer this question 100% honestly, because we've been having a genuine conversation. I feel you've been being very genuine in everything that you've been saying. Do you think, on large scale, that black women are actually, encouraged? So this woman in this video and other black women say that they're encouraged to date down, they're encouraged to not date up, they're encouraged to not look for more. Are there a lot of black women encouraging other black women to, um stop looking at a man for money, like you just said, and to like have their own, to manifest their own dream life, and not look for a man to provide a lifestyle for them? And I'll be 100%, I'll answer this question before you do. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't see a lot of black women doing that.
um, you said, are they encouraging black women to date down
No, no. Are
or
there a lot
encourage
of
them to have their dream? You said encouraging to have their dream life. Okay.
are there a lot of black women that are encouraging other black women to manifest their own dream life, so and as opposed to getting a man that can provide a lifestyle for them?
Um, now this is, I'm gonna just speak on what I see.
Yeah.
Um, for me, for what I see in outside of social media, I do see it. But I don't see it as much as I don't see it as much as I did when I was, when I was 18, 19. I'm 31 right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I also saw when I was younger there were women who were telling other women, go get that man, get him for what he got so that you can live comfortably because you don't want to be out here being a single mom and being married and all this, and you want to be married and having a nice family or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what has happened, right, is that because of things happening in society and just social media taking off the way it has within the last 25 years, right? Black women have seen how easily social media influences our community and have taken more to manifesting their dream life because they don't want to end up being stuck in um that social media fast lane, if you would so call put it. um I do believe that there are, nowadays, yes, there are more women who are encouraging other women to be able to have their dream life, because there's many women who are coming out of divorces, 10 plus years divorce, 10 plus years marriages, and had to do everything on their own, had to make sure bills were paid, kids were taken care of, house was taken care of, all of that stuff, even with the man inside the home. Um, which can be frustrating to a lot of women because it's like, what's the point of me doing all of this? We're supposed to be in a marriage, but you're not picking up your hat and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And not only do I have to make sure that all of your appointments are made, your appointments, my appointments, the kids are made. If we have dogs, got to make vet appointments for them. If something happens with the car, I got to figure out where I need to go to get it fixed up. Like literally all of that. And I think because women who are now in their 50s, 60s, who do have that lifestyle that they can sit comfortably and live off their retirement money, are telling black women and women in general, like, hey, it's cool to be married, but make sure that you're married to a partner who knows what it means to be in a marriage. Because just because you're married doesn't mean that you're going to have all the answers and you're going to have everything in place. I've seen people who have been married for 20 plus years, and both of them are cheating on each other. Both of them are, the house is in shambles. Kids aren't in contact with. Like, I've seen that, but I've also seen a marriage, with my grandparents, right? Who they did everything together. When I say everything, I mean everything. If my dad cooked, she washed the dishes. If he was fixing on a car, she would hand him the tools. If he was in a meeting, a business meeting or something, and getting something done with his business, she would be over here sorting files out to make sure that his business stays organized. Like literally, that's literally what it means to be in a marriage. So I think honestly, when it comes to just anybody, I think everybody should uplift each other and be able to, say, hey, go do your dream job, uh get your dream life or whatever, and whenever you're ready to settle down, it's not when you're ready to settle down, but as you're working towards that place to settle down, work on yourself. Get that internal piece that you're looking for. If you want to get some education, go get your education. If you want to go to culinary school, go to culinary school, whatever it is. Do something that makes you happy. Even if you do find a man that wants to, have you in the house and making sure you're taking care of and paying all the bills and all that stuff. Make sure you have something on the side, because if something happens to him, God forbid, then you have a way to be able to support yourself and your kids if there are kids involved. So I think that's just for anybody. Doesn't matter if with a man or a woman. If I'm the woman and I'm going out making money and doing all this other stuff, then I would want my partner to have some type of career if something does happen to me. If I'm the sole breadwinner, that's just me.
I have one more question for you, Blazer. Some woman in the comments. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't remember your name in the comments, but I did reply to you. This whole being financially stable thing. What does a man being financially stable to you specifically mean? I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of most what you think financially stable is for most women. To you as a 31-year-old woman, what does a man being financially stable mean to you? Because being financially stable means different things to different women.
Hmm. Hmm. Me personally, um, I think just a man being financially stable is a man who can take care of bills, um, and know that the bills are taken care of, and is able to balance that stress out with those bills.
Okay. Do you think a lot of women would be because if a man is living in a studio, a 400 500 square feet studio apartment, but he's able to pay his rent every month, whatever other bills or monthly
In
expenses
what
he
state?
has.
In what state? Because I know in
It
some
does it
states the
doesn't
studio
it does it
apartment is
does
like
it
sixteen
doesn't it
hundred
does
dollars a month.
it
Shit.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what state. I'm getting to a point. If
Oh, okay.
he's
No, go
able,
ahead. My bad.
if he's living in a 400 500 square foot studio apartment, but he's paying and has no problem paying his bills every month, and he has a little money left over, a little money, maybe after all his monthly expenses, he has maybe $100 to $300 left over. But that's what he's able to afford at that point in his life right now. Do you consider him financially stable, and do you think a lot of women will want to be with a man like that that's living within his means, but is not able to do the most in life right now because he's not earning a lot? Because my whole point that I'm trying to make is when these women be talking about financially stable and you hear them say, oh, he needs to be able to pay his bills and this, that, and third, they want him to be able to pay his bills, but they also want him to be able to provide a lifestyle that they want to live. So a man that's living in a studio apartment and paying his bills and being a responsible adult, a lot of these women are not going to respect that. They want a man that's being able to pay his
Now,
bills in
now,
a
now,
in a
I
four
can't.
thousand,
Now,
5,000, 6,000 square foot house. That's what they ultimately want.
now, I can't. Like I said, like I said before, I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for all women. I can't speak for what anybody else. I can only speak for myself, right?
Hmm.
For me, if there's a man who's in a studio apartment, and he's paying all his bills, and he's able to have something left over, like $300-400 a check or whatever, after each
Hmm.
check, if he's getting paid every week after each check, whatever, he's got $300-400 after that check. Me, I would be like, okay, cool. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You making sure you got everything you taken care of. So what are you going to use that money to invest so that you'll be able to not only just live within your means, but to be able to pursue your passions. Um, and I think that women who say the women that you say that's not going to respect that man, honestly, they don't know how tough it is really to maintain a lifestyle of living in a house or living in a condo because it's tough. I'm not the sole breadwinner, but I do know that the person that I'm co-parenting with, they take care of all the bills and they make sure that everything is taken care of. Um, and they make a lot of money, so it's like for me, I'm a very simple woman. I don't want I don't want a luxury car. I don't want to have all of this stuff. I might want I barely get my nails done. I do keep my hair done, but it's just I think the women who don't respect those type of men are just shallow, honestly. Like I really do, because it's like, what's the point of you saying that you want somebody who is putting in that effort, but when they're putting in that effort, right, you're just basically saying, okay, I want someone who has money but is also an asshole, because that man, right, who's living within his means, who's making sure his bills is paid, this man is probably a whole gentleman. This man is probably doing what he's supposed to be doing. This man is probably one of those men where, you would swoon for. He's gonna take you out on a date. It may not be the most extravagant date, but he could take you out somewhere, as a picnic, or or to the movies, or even just to go play laser tag. 'Cause some men out here like to play laser tag. They like to play games. They like to go bowling. They like to go skating. It doesn't have to be
Hmm.
somebody who was out here living in a condo. Like I used when I say these women out here are shallow, and one of the reasons why I have such a humble mindset now is because I was living that lifestyle when I was younger. I was living the lifestyle of me having a condo, paying $2,000-3,000 a month just to stay in that condo. And not only am I paying $2,000-3,000 a month, I'm paying $600-700 of food just
Hmm.
for the month.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of money. Like
Yep.
I'm just like I'd rather, like, if I could, and if I didn't have no kids, that's probably where I would be at. I would be in a studio apartment. Yeah, I'd probably be paying $1,600-1,700 a month in a studio apartment, but shit, at least I got somewhere to lay my head. At least I got somewhere to, at least I got something to take me to and from work. I may not have a lot of money, but I still got it. Um, and then the last thing I'm gonna say, right, is I think that because of the way society is, we're raised to have value within money and not value within ourselves. Because a lot of times when we don't have money, we treat ourselves and other people like crap. But when we do have money, we treat ourselves, with the utmost respect. We may treat somebody else who may have more money than us with the utmost respect. But sometimes those people with money are just whole pieces of crap. Like I'm just gonna put it out there. And even some people who don't have money, they're whole pieces of crap. But they base their value on monetary things, when you can't take those monetary things with you. You can't take anything that you've accumulated within this life with you. So we have to find that peace within ourselves so that we can be able to live with ourselves and be within ourselves, and be whole within ourselves. So once we take money out of the equation, then I think that's where most women, especially, who do have that high value of thinking, of wanting to have that high lifestyle. Once they take money out of that equation, they'll probably rethink the millionaire that they're with that's treating them like crap, and go for the guy who's living in the studio that treats them like a queen.
Hmm. Wow. 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 Well,
Yeah,
thank
I
you,
mean,
Blazer. I
that's
appreciate
I
you.
mean, that's my thoughts, that's my opinion, that's my hot take. Some people ain't I ain't even looking in the comments, but I know it's people in here talking about, oh well, women do I don't even care about that. Like y'all just don't y'all ain't gotten to the point where y'all thought that deep, because people aren't our society does not raise us to think critically. and that's where our society in America is fucked up because we have I think it was, I don't know if it was CNN or if it was NBC or one of those news stations. I heard it. I heard about it, right? America is, I guess, one of the countries that over, I think it was 74% of our population reads at a fifth grade level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're reading at a fifth grade level, then I'm pretty sure something is something as simple that people should be able to get. I'm just saying because I mean it's really not that deep. It's deep, but it's really not that deep. So,
Someone in the comments said, but that will require living within y'all means and you not being blinded by this six figure thing, quote unquote six figure thing.
you know where? Let me tell you exactly where they got that six-figure quote thing. You know where they got that from?
Where they get it from?
They got it from Andrew Tate. That's exactly where they got it from. Because
Really?
why? Because listen, let me ask you a question. Why would you listen to a guy, right, whose hustle is nothing but manipulating people? That's literally his hustle. This man does isn't even married, bro. How are you gonna listen to a guy who literally has admittedly online on podcasts has said that a lot of his relationships have failed? He never gave a reason why they failed, but he said they failed. See, now if I'm gonna be somebody who's real on the internet, right? I'm gonna tell you why my relationship failed, where it failed at, how it failed, why, what I need to do to fix it, what I should do to just let it go. Like I'm gonna tell you everything. I'm not just gonna tell you, okay, well my relationship failed and just leave it at that. But this is what women really want. Most men don't even really know what women want because they won't sit and actually listen to women. They won't actually sit and listen to them. They'll think, okay, well, this is what another guy told me, and well, it must be true because now it's in the movie, so it must be true. No, most women, we really just want y'all to listen to us and sit and talk, like literally actively listen. That's all we want. We want you to actively listen and actively listen what we actually want. Like me as a woman, me in general, women, we really just want, okay. So we want to hear a man say, okay, well I heard that you liked Sailor Moon back in the day, so I got you the Sailor Moon blanket. Like literally, the littlest thing can make a woman melt. It doesn't matter how much money you spent, as long as you paid attention to the small things. Have you ever heard it's the small things in life? When I say it's the small things, it's literally the small things. The ones that are asking you for the moon are the ones that are asking you for the moon, the stars, and the universe are usually the ones that are shallow. The ones that are asking for nothing are the ones that you should give the moon, the world, and the stars to.
Somebody in the comments said, somebody in the comments says six figures ain't ish unless it's a high six. Money don't buy love nor substance. You see what I'm talking about? Like to the person that said that, Z Mom 74. Do you even know what percentage of not just men, just what percentage of people in America make a six figure salary and keyword salary, okay? I'm not talking about because well, I'm gonna get into it. Do you even know what percentage of people in America make a six figure salary? And when we talk about a six figure salary, we are talking about a salary. Do you even know how many people, not men in general, do you know? And then think about how many black people make a six figure salary in America. And then when you say stuff like,
Especially if we're supposed to be what, 13, 14% of the population.
hold on, I'm about to get to it. And then when you say things like and then when you say things like it doesn't mean anything um if it's a low six figures. You said it doesn't mean anything unless it's a high six figures. Do you even know what percentage of people make actually make six figures after taxes?
Dang, you was
After
just getting ready to say
after
exactly what I was about
after
to say.
after taxes, after just like take home. So that's not even involving their major living expenses. That's not involving anything. That's not involving any of that other stuff. So like my whole thing is y'all will try to shit on the men that don't make six figures, but then the men that do make six figures, you want to minimize the men that are on the low end as well. So like it's like bro, it's like and the whole thing at the end of the day be like, and I'm not talking about you specifically, Z Mom. The whole thing at the end of the day is y'all are not even the ones that y'all are the ones y'all aren't even making the type of money that you're trying to shit on other men and say that they're not making. And then you want to say you want to say that men that you want to I see some of y'all in the comments talking about y'all need to date women within y'all means and don't allow men to drag you into a poverty mindset. Ain't nobody trying to drag you into a poverty mindset. At the end of the day, as someone that's on the low end right now, myself that's on the low end of what we're talking about, like it's like imagine, imagine, imagine a woman that's nowhere near what you make and that can't do anything in her lifestyle that you can do for yourself, trying to like shit on you. And whenever y'all hear a man say, just tell y'all the truth, just tell y'all the reality of what it's going to be for a lot of y'all. Y'all say that he's broke and y'all say he needs a date in his tax bracket and this, that, and the third. Like, bro, what are y'all talking about? y'all gotta y'all gotta stop, yo. Y'all gotta
Can
stop.
can
Like
I can I
not
can I
because a
say
man
something
tells
really
you not
quick
because a
though?
man tells you what the truth is and what the reality is going to be for a lot of you, that doesn't mean that he's broke. That doesn't mean that he needs to date within his means. He's just telling you what the reality is going to be for a lot of you. Go ahead.
So can I say something really quick on that? Because I think a lot of people who don't really understand what it means to be in that six figure bracket doesn't even know what comes with that, right? Um, like not only do you have to worry about your family always asking you for money, always asking you for help, always asking you for things, right? But you also have to worry about the people who who you're dating are always going to ask you for something, right? Which is not a bad thing because when you're dating someone, you want to be able to elevate them to a point, right? I think a lot of a lot of women, especially myself, tend to not want to date men who I'm speaking on women who think like me and this, right? I think the reason why I don't like dating men with money is because a lot of times that money goes to their head and it gives them a big head and they think that they can talk to or treat me or women like me anyway simply because they have that money, right? And women do the same thing to men too. I think that that six figure, six pack, 6 foot tall, um, stigma came from men who are inadequate within themselves, and because they refuse to work on themselves, they think that that's what women really want, right? And it's not. Like I don't. If I get that in a man, if I get a six figure, six pack, 6 foot type of man, and he's treating me like a queen, oh, okay, that's cool. That's all fine. But if I get that six figure, 6 pack, 6 foot type of man that is extremely abusive, then I'm messed up. I'm gonna be effed up. So with women, it's more of a roulette than it is with men, I think, because not only do we have to worry about what happens to us as women when it comes to the dating world, but if we have kids, we also have to think about them too. So I wanted to I want to say I'm gonna say this last thing and then I'm gonna drop down because I really want people to get out of the mindset that money makes you valuable. it does not make you valuable. Yes, it does bring it does tell you the value of your skills and where your skill set is and how well you are able to execute those skills, but it does not tell you your value, because if you did not have money, who are you? You have to ask yourself that, because I know who I am without money. I know for a fact I can go somewhere and be able to live off the land. I don't have to have no money. If I were to be put on an island right now where everything was in abundance and all I have to do is pick fruit, get the water, you know, build the tools to be able for me to hunt, I'd be able to do that. I wouldn't need no money. I can do that on my own for free. I know who I am. I think that's where a lot of people are missing the disconnect and within themselves, because they don't know who they are. When you take away the money, who are you?
Well, thank you, Blazer. I appreciate you coming on here. Like I said, you're always welcome here. I'm gonna drop you and give Nisi Baby an opportunity to speak. So thank you, Blazer. You have a good night. You have a great day. Okay.
You too.
All
I'll
right.
give you a follow,
Okay,
man.
Blaze.
Okay.